Marketing is a battlefield. Trends shift, strategies evolve, and only the bold stay ahead.
So, how do you cut through the noise and make an impact?
Welcome to the Marketing Pulse podcast, where we decode marketing one powerful conversation at a time.
Hosted by Mukwemba Mangangu, Tukia Tambatamba, and me, Grace Gondwe, we bring you insights, strategies, and real talk on what's shaping the industry.
Ready? Let's get into it.
Good morning, Mukwemba.
Good morning, Grace. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well.
Mukwemba is our sunshine in the studio.
No, he's not.
Very happy, very joyful. Hi, Tukia.
No, he's not.
He is. We have two definitions of what the human experience looks like. We have Tukia and Mukwemba here, and Mukwemba is your typical morning person, very happy, very joyful, and Tukia is like, why did you wake me up this morning?
Exactly. I'm a night
I just
owl.
want to be in bed.
Yeah.
So how are you guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
Tukia, how are you?
I'm good. It could have been a better morning. But but okay.
No,
Okay.
we know you prefer the evenings.
I prefer the evenings, but yeah, let's bring the energy.
Okay,
Yeah.
we are here. We have a special guest with us.
Yes, we do.
And Mukwemba will do the honors for us.
Allow me. So, today's guest is a dynamic force in marketing and sales, known for blending creativity with strategy to achieve impactful results. He's a marketing and sales officer at Dangote. Beyond his corporate role, he's an entrepreneur with a passion for turning opportunities into thriving ventures. He drives campaigns that resonate and deliver success. A true marketing enthusiast committed to innovation and inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. Allow me to
that was a good
welcome
intro.
Musa Milapo.
Thanks for that intro. It made me feel better about myself.
Yes, of course.
Like I'm something in this life.
That's what it's supposed to do. Hi, Musa. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good.
First and foremost, I'm a big fan of the show. I should have heard, I think, 90% of the episodes.
Grace is melting right
It should
now.
be like
Thank
one
you
or two
so
that I haven't.
much.
But I think, it should be 90% of it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
Love
still love it.
to hear it.
Very reassuring that we have people actually listening.
Yeah, no, I listen to all of them.
Exactly. And with that, okay, first and foremost, our listeners,
Yes.
firstly, thank you because
Yeah.
we won an award
Yes.
for the podcast.
Yes. We
And
did.
with only 12 episodes,
Yeah, it's only one season out.
season out, you guys are amazing. Your support and obviously also our studio,
Yes.
our Vibecast,
Yeah.
doing an amazing job with the quality to put us at that level in Africa and then stand out to win the first time out is quite an achievement for us. We
We got the nomination news and we're like, yeah, wow. They listened and they were like, and then we won. And you know, when we heard the announcement,
Yes.
there was a listening event. When we heard the announcement, it was like 2 seconds of like, what? Before the woo, it was like 2 seconds where I was like,
Is this for
did
real?
I hear this right?
Yeah.
Because I think there were some veterans on that
They were.
list.
They really were.
They were, yeah.
With so much content, good content as well.
Yeah.
And just
Congratulations on that.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And before we lose you. we have our icebreakers.
I'm here.
Okay. Your compulsory questions when you come
Yeah.
into the house.
Yeah.
So our question for you to start off, Musa, is how do you define marketing?
Yeah. This is usually a hard one because I feel like every definition has another side to it where someone can be like, what about this? That sort of like disqualifies the definition.
Okay.
But I like Seth Godin's definition. He says it's the art of helping someone solve their problem. Yeah, unselfishly helping someone solve their problem.
Yes.
So I think that's a good definition of marketing. I would also say the art of storytelling, to an audience a story that's relevant to them.
Yes.
So I would go with those two, just to sort of sum up what I think the definition of marketing is. But yeah, like I said, it's a lot of things put into what, but that would be my
Something
main
that
definition.
something that we always do though is when we get these definitions, we are very much like from marketing, yes, in our work, but from also like academic background. Like I'm sure you've heard our introductory whatever. We come from an academic background, and somehow, I mean, for me personally, in my brain, there's still that very academic definition of what is marketing from Philip Kotler's perspective.
The Godfather.
Yes, and it's that customer centric perspective.
Yeah.
Like helping somebody solve their problem. It's thinking about it.
Unselfishly.
Yes, it's thinking about it from a customer centric perspective. Is what does this person need?
Yeah.
And how do I help them get what they need? And even understanding that sometimes they might not know that they need it. And so I'm bringing them to the awareness that they have this need and then solving that need for them.
Yeah. So my thing would be, what would bad marketing be then? All right.
Yeah.
Like if marketing is the art of helping someone solve their problem,
Yeah.
what would bad marketing be?
I have a thought there. When you're talking about, again, from an academic perspective, thinking about it from management and thinking about the Industrial Revolution and how that was very production-driven, manufacturing-driven. Yes, there was an understanding that these are things that people need. But I think there was also a perspective where we're just producing because these are the things that we as manufacturers think they need without necessarily getting a proper understanding of what the consumer desires. So bad marketing is a good producer, a good designer of products who doesn't understand that their ultimate objective should be to meet the consumer's needs. Because you can design a product, you can design a very good product and then have it not hit with the consumer because you didn't factor them in as much as you should have. Gotcha. I've been reading, there's a book called The Lean Startup. I can't remember his name. You've read it. I can't remember what his name is. Raise, something like that. And he talks about how in one of his earlier startups, they had this idea about avatars and how they wanted to sell these avatars, but it wasn't selling with the people because what they thought would sell versus what people actually wanted, that there was that disconnect there. And obviously that's thinking about it maybe from a more entrepreneurial perspective with product design and all of that. But I think it's bringing in that marketing thinking that will close those gaps even for an entrepreneur and serve the consumer well. This is getting a bit nerdy. Sorry.
Trust me, we're enjoying it.
That was good.
That was good. Yeah, no, that's nice. So today we can move straight into it, and we're discussing the state of marketing today. So Musa, how would you describe the current marketing landscape in one word, and why?
Okay, so we'll bring it to Zambia, right?
Yes.
Because the dynamics are light years apart when we're talking about marketing on a global stage in Zambia. One word is... I was scared to do one word because I felt it was limiting, but I'll say it. Behind.
Ooh.
Sounds negative, but if I was given 3 words, I'd say behind but trying.
Okay. And that's a very Zambian sentence.
You're pushing.
We're trying.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay, we'll allow one phrase.
So, yeah, the reason I say behind is... I think last year I did a video that was like rating billboards in Lusaka. So I took pictures of like various billboards in Lusaka and trying to rate like, okay guys, what's
quality,
going on? What's going on with the marketing here? And the vast majority of the billboards that are there are missing the point, right? Because when you think about the science of why billboards should be done or should work is most of the times you only have a few seconds,
Yes.
1 to 3 seconds to interact with the billboard,
yes.
and you're gone. Except when you're in
Traffic.
when you're in traffic, that's when maybe you can look at the billboard and see what's going on. So you find the vast majority of billboards in Zambia are people trying to put a lot of information into a billboard. You have the company name, the name of the product, your theme, your address, your phone number, and then your call to action. It's like you're already overwhelming the people who will be interacting with those billboards, right?
Yeah.
So a billboard is supposed to be real quick message,
Yes.
right? And an image that evokes some certain emotion with someone
Yes.
who see that billboard, and then they would then take the next action to either look you up or try and see what you're all about, or if they know you, it will make them take that next action of making that buying decision, right? So because you have the vast majority of people doing that, and billboards are expensive, right?
Yes, they are.
So if you're going to spend your millions of kwacha to put into a billboard and it's not even effective, you realize that, okay, maybe a lot of these places don't just understand what marketing is supposed to do, or they don't necessarily believe in marketing, or they follow some old theme of what marketing is supposed to be, where you have something that's supposed to be on a poster is on a billboard. But further than that, you ask the question, okay, like, why are these guys even using billboards, right? Not to say billboards are not effective, but in the social media landscape, right? You have social media that gives you a lot of versatility. It gives you budget-friendly sort of things that you can do with it, and then you get to reach more people in various forms, right? So one thing that I did with the people that I saw on the billboards is that, okay, I was like, okay, let me check them out on social media. And you find they're either not present on social media, or they basically maybe just post a picture that says Happy Easter or Happy Independence.
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. So it's just like, okay, you guys are clearly leaving money on the table. Anyhow, I've talked too much, but behind would be my definition, because this is what I see in the Zambian landscape, even from the big players.
I have a question there. There's something that you said that got me thinking is the problem that we as marketers, is it that we as marketers are not keeping abreast with what state of the art in as far as practice is concerned is looking like? Or is our market not ready to consume that kind of marketing? Or are budget holders not ready to change their approach to how they invest in marketing? I don't know what you... And I think this is something that all of us can discuss. Yeah. Like, are we as marketers dropping the ball? Are our consumers not ready? Or are budget holders not ready to change their spend or their spending approach? I don't know.
I have a perspective. I really want to hear what you guys have to say.
Okay.
Then I'll go.
I think when it comes to budgets in the landscape of billboards, for example, I don't think budget would come in, because if you're paying, for example, for a 3 meter by 6 meter billboard, the price is going to be the same irrespective of what type of print you're going to put on the billboard. That's one. Then two, I think the Zambian population, we are ready for that consumption.
Right?
Yes, we are
we're
ready.
consuming internet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're very active on social media. We're very active on internet and different platforms. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I think the onus is on us as marketers, I think, to do better in regards to this ever-changing landscape.
Yeah, because we're moving from a point of where, like, because most people you find, they do things and you think, what is the end goal of the message you're putting out, right? Because is it just for awareness purposes, or do you actually need people to have like a call to action when they see it? So just like you've said, consumers at the moment are ready for the information that is out there, because like you said, they're on the internet. They're seeing what people are doing outside, and a lot of them are wondering, when is there a great campaign here? So I'd like to say, just going back to the aspect of like it's actual marketers, and then how do you go out and create like great content? Because then how do you compete with people outside? Like at what point do we set our ads and say the Zambian campaign we had is competing with some of those in the Western world at a certain level where you're like, look, ours was great. Like you have enough confidence to go, we could beat them.
Yeah. So I would say it's a mix of all the things that you mentioned, but I think the first people to blame are the Zambian marketers. So it's us in the room, right? Including me, especially me. Because I'll give you this example. If I told you right now, name 5 financial influencers that you know.
You want names?
Yeah.
Jane,
Jane
Fire.
Yes.
There's the lady
Chanozia.
Yeah.
Chanozia. There's another
Liapa.
Liapa. There's the man.
I know one. I don't know if he's reached influencer
Munyumba,
status.
yes,
Yeah.
Munyumba.
There's also is it Nathan? I see him on LinkedIn doing a lot of
Financial.
yes.
Okay, I don't know him. That's
So,
four.
but
Yeah.
Nathan.
5.
Shout out to
At least
Nathan.
you can name 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Name 5 marketing influencers that you know in the Zambian market.
Influencers in the Zambian market.
Yeah, like the way you've named the 5 financial influencers, name 5 marketing influencers.
Tukia Tamba Tamba.
Except you
Mukomba
guys.
Mangangu.
Except you guys.
Grace Gondwe. Okay.
This is the part where I go, I see where you're going with this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't name 5.
Yeah. Oof.
And as marketers, we're supposed to be the ones that are leading the charge in terms of influencer marketing, like speaking to the market in what they should do, how they can build brands and things like. But we're just not doing that. So
Was scared.
right? So that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
So when you talk to marketers like myself and other people, they'll say, a lot of people will be like, no, I'm being blocked by ABCD.
Yeah.
The budget is just not allowed, or people don't believe in marketing. But I think in and of ourselves, we're not taking the lead enough to then influence people to change. Because all it takes is 1 or 2 companies that have really good campaigns that drive a lot of business success their way and have it trend and people talk about it. Then there'll be an example to say, let's do it like those guys, right? Or how are those guys doing it and we're not? So in that sense, if we have excellence in one field, then competition will drive it to where other companies start to get on board, and then we'll see better marketing overall.
Yeah.
So
I think with that, a small challenge would come in when you're talking about an excellent campaign, for example. As an ordinary consumer, most people won't know who's behind that campaign or who's the face of that campaign. That might be something that maybe we would know in the marketing circles or in the industry in which that particular campaign is running. But for an ordinary consumer, they may not know the face or the name, and I think that in itself presents a challenge.
Do we think that, like, I mean, again, here in the room, if we start talking about agencies and, you know, who's doing what, like, we know. So should we then, I mean, we can even do an episode, like, are you looking for agencies? These are people you can talk to.
Yeah.
Are you looking for someone to do this kind of thing for you? Is that something that we should then do?
Yes, not for free.
you don't have to market.
Yeah, no, that's to secure the bag.
Yeah.
I don't think personally it's an issue of people don't know where to go. I think we just have a lot of stuff to do in terms of innovation.
Okay.
And creating like really good marketing work. It doesn't have to be big budget. It just has to be something that works, that reaches a huge number in terms of end users. And from that, I think you have a ripple effect that goes everywhere. Because I think even the agencies, like if you pull up the agent, who are the biggest agencies? Like, what sort of work are they doing? You find they're making the same similar mistakes that we were talking about. Some of it is due to pressure from the clients, but that's also another conversation, because if you really want to like win, the agencies have to lead the marketing. Yes, the customer should give their perspective and the direction.
But you have to trust.
You should be strong enough to say, guys, we're not going with this. This is our recommendation, and this is why we're saying this. Yes, I know you want to put your phone number on the billboard, but you've come to us for a reason.
This is how we work.
But if the ecosystem is that if we talk, we'll lose this client, then you just have a whole culture of bad marketing that perpetuates itself, because we're doing it for the money. And we don't have the backbone to say, okay, guys, we're standing on this, and this is where we should go. If it means we have 4 clients this year, it's fine, but we believe in the end result, which will then, in the long term,
change the ecosystem.
The person will win. That agency that stands on their ground will win in the long term, but in the short term, it seems like how we pay our bills.
Exactly.
But then nothing changes long term.
That's so true, because just like you said, pressure from the clients, because now you find, I think the other problem, like you've said, is how complacent the marketers are, in the sense that if you come and say this is what it is that we want, you also look at it and go, this is not going to do it, and this actually takes less work. So you who's receiving the money is like, it's less work for me. So if I can quickly get this out of the way and he moves, I can move on to the next person without actually indulging yourself in the work and actually work to produce something that's of value.
Yeah. Makes for an interesting episode.
Yeah, I think so.
In-house marketing versus agencies.
Yes. Those conversations as well. Probably something we should add to our list of things.
It would be interesting. Because even that, anyway, the culture in Zambia is, you find, like, generally we just don't believe in marketing. Worse off social media marketing, right? You find usually in organizations, you either don't have a marketing department, or if that marketing department is there's a few people that are, if not one person, then that one person is pretty much doing admin work. Like, as a marketer, you're paid to think.
Yes, to be creative.
Yeah.
Yes, it's your creativity that is needed that you should be being paid for.
Exactly.
Yes.
When you go to most of these marketing positions, you find that's the person who runs with PRs. The most they do is make an event, so they just show up on social media. They have to post those pictures. They're chasing quotations and stuff like that.
Sales, very sales heavy.
You know.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Well, the direction that we wanted for this to take is to discuss AI. Our original intention.
we can save AI for a rainy day. There's plenty of time
Maybe
to talk about AI.
I'll go in that episode and make them uncomfortable. That was my whole goal. Just throw them over like.
We were going to discuss AI, and I think we've shifted away from that. But I think we can discuss emerging trends and in your perspective, interacting with, like, from a digital and social media marketing perspective, and maybe even outside. What are the things that you are seeing? Yeah, we are behind, but what are the things
we are trying.
Behind and trying. We are behind but trying. We're pushing.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you are seeing that the Zambian marketer should look out for? And I think, especially from a customer perspective, what things are we as consumers becoming more receptive to that the savvy marketer should look at and jump on?
Yeah. I think edutainment is a big one that we should definitely focus on. So edutainment, for those who don't understand, is education and entertainment.
Like we are doing now.
Mixed together. So brands should embrace that, because it gives the customer something for them. Like, there's something in it for them, right? So the marketing of old ways, just push. This is our product. We are the best and stuff like that. Doesn't necessarily work anymore. The clients, especially with the social media landscape being their most used platform, are looking for something to be engaged with.
Value.
Some sort of value for them, right? So it's either that getting some education from what you're saying. So if you're a bank or whatever, you're trying to tell them about good financial decisions, what are the best banking products,
where can you invest?
Exactly, financial freedom and things like that, things that they want to hear and that will benefit them. And in return, they trust you as an authority in that specific space, and they can then buy from you because you're someone that they trust. And entertainment, in the sense that if you're making people enjoy something, they are evoking some certain emotion with them, you're either inspiring them or you're making them laugh, they have a good feeling towards you, right, as a brand. And people like to buy from people that they like. So first of all, you have the perspective of education and entertainment. Entertainment will help you reach people, and the more people that you reach, the more that you can be exposed to other people in their sort of niche, right? So if you're able to reach teen girls, or if you're able to reach university students, they can tell their other university students, and then your brand can grow and you can build affinity because people like you because you entertain them on social media. So you have people coming in with trending audios or trending stuff like that. Oh, we listen, we don't judge.
Yes.
Some brands jump on that and give their own perspective in terms of what their brand would do. You have this recent one that Aaron Pierre, that's
Aaron Pierre.
the guys are hating that.
So many emotions from the brethren. So many think
It's like,
pieces.
guys, come on.
Think pieces. It's just
We're above this.
guys.
We got feelings over here.
All I've got from that is you're saying brands and companies should be on TikTok.
We should actually. I'll give you this example. I was talking to, I shouldn't say his name because he's not in good graces right now.
Okay.
But he's a Zambian influencer.
Yeah.
You probably know who I'm talking about when I give the example. So he interacts a lot with marketeers and stuff like that. So he was saying, like, the vast majority of marketeers use TikTok.
Okay.
Like, that already just blew my mind because, number one, people think those people just generally don't use social media.
Yeah.
But if they do,
It's TikTok.
they're on Facebook. That's what people would think.
Yes.
Okay.
But most of them are on TikTok, right? And after he said that, I sort of got it because you find even our parents, right? They might not be on TikTok, but they'll post a video that's from TikTok.
Yes.
So like TikTok content has reached them somehow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So right now, back to our topic of why I was saying behind, but trying. Think about what would be the top brand in Zambia.
Are they on TikTok?
If they're probably on TikTok, but if you go there, like their action there is like non-existent. But the vast majority of social media growth is happening on TikTok. The new influencers right now,
They're from TikTok.
they boomed from TikTok. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have had a chance on
Yeah.
Facebook or anywhere like that. But if you think about influencers right now, a lot of you will go to TikTok. And if we're talking about things that make it out, most of them are from TikTok.
Yeah.
Like if you interact with people outside of the country, they'll tell you about influencers in Zambia who they saw on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I think generally we're not just paying attention to where the trends are going in terms of these platforms. We're thinking that things are still working as if
The way they were previously.
But there's a lot of growth happening on these platforms that we're plain just ignoring. I've forgotten what I was. Why was I talking about?
We're talking about trends in the
Trends,
industry.
yes.
And
Okay,
yes,
yes.
and
Yes,
you talked
and that's
about
one,
being
yeah,
Right.
TikTok, yeah.
balancing education as well as the creative
Entertainment.
element, entertainment.
Exactly.
Yes, then we came to
yeah.
Yeah, so the whole aspect of short, like, because this is one of the things we're actually going to talk about within this space, and I just like that you've brought all those things out
Yeah.
because everything we're going to discuss has somewhat weaved itself into the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's just on the short form video content, right? Like the same TikTok that we're talking about, and people trying to make reels. I guess maybe WhatsApp also trying to create some sort of platform
Yeah.
where you can also do the same and making their videos, the video time frame longer. So going back to the aspect of brands, right? Edutainment.
Yeah.
A lot of marketers and brands now need to realize that there's the importance in how do you use both the left and right side of the human brain. Okay, because one end you've got the analytical side of it, where the logical thinking, like, okay, this is what your brand does, and this is how we understand what's going on. But at the same time, we also need to go the creative side, and where do we invoke our emotions? Because once you put those together, it works well. And then on the aspect of influencers that we talked about, it's also important that how do you weave your brand into someone's content? So not necessarily, hey, this is this, you advertise it for us like this, because then it starts to feel unnatural for them and also for the people that are watching. So now how do they, in their natural state, how they usually do their content, weave your brand into it? I think that also has the best impact on the audience that you are targeting.
So we were talking about earlier, we were talking about macro and micro influencers and how in terms of like getting a return on your investment with influencers, how it might be better sometimes to consider micro influencers who have a very well established niche.
Right.
And I think the example we used is agriculture, right? Because you can go to a big influencer, someone with millions of followers, and then they'll be like, oh, go and buy fertilizer. Sir, we've never seen you in the field. You don't even know how to plant the seeds. Whereas if you go to someone who's built their niche over years, you know, they've established themselves that they have an expertise in agriculture, it would be easy for them to say, oh, guys, I was at the farm weeding and eating fertilizer. And I used... Can't come up with anything of the clearly I'm not a farmer, but I use this brand of fertilizer. You know, go and check them out. What? Authentic, real, and the correct people who need that information will get a hold of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it comes up to what do people trust you for, right? Just because you have the numbers doesn't necessarily mean people trust you for something, and that's what you're going for, right? It's like, okay, if we're going to this influencer, what do people trust this influencer for? Right? And that varies from product to product. There's some people like Lulu Hangal, right? Because of the brand that she's built over time, she can usually fall in a lot of niches because people trust her for excellence. Right? So you're like, okay, this is someone who is a person of value. And she's excellent in her field. So then the trust is not necessarily that
it's not product specific,
but it's because she's excellent, period.
Broadly,
So you would say, okay, she wouldn't endorse something that's of less. Right? So you have a few cases like that, but the vast majority is people trusting you for a specific thing. So that's why the trends are going towards micro influencers a lot more, because they can then do UGC style content where they can talk about your specific product and how it can be in their whole ecosystem or their whole personal life and how they can use it for a certain benefit. And then people resonate with exactly that. So, yeah.
Good you mentioned Lulu. Because we were just discussing the case study that we wanted to discuss today. And we landed on the wood kitchen. And just wanted to talk about it from an influencer perspective. And the conversation actually started on the tourism side of things. And we were talking about, please remind me, Tukia.
Anele Mdoda.
We were talking about Anele Mdoda. We were talking about Zambia Tourism Board and local tourism and how there's the push for visiting places locally. We have all of these beautiful places in Zambia. Can we go to these places? And we started talking about Anele and how she came to Zambia, and she was talking about Chikanda and going to all of these
Bream,
places
yeah.
and Bream and and how the conversation from that wave when she was here was, what are we as Zambian people doing to sell the country, and our Zambian influencers, rather, why aren't Zambian influencers being as aggressive about selling the Zambian experience? And then we were like, but wait, who in the Zambian space is doing something similar, or sharing our Zambian experience in a similar way? And we came to the Wood Kitchen, and we started talking about that.
Yeah. Lulu Hangala is someone, Lulu Hangala Wood.
Yes.
Yeah, someone who we followed for some time. Like when you brought up that conversation, I'm like, wait, you mean the lady from Star Search? Like,
Yes.
that's where I knew her from, and she's evolved.
Many years ago.
And she's evolved to do so many things.
Yeah.
And the last I checked, she was going around Zambia, just going around the country, tasting different foods, sort of showcasing the different types of foods that we have, cooking styles, cooking tips. I know she's, I would say, culinary expert by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, she's one of those people in Zambia who's doing the most.
Yeah.
She really is doing the most.
Yeah.
And I think as far as influencers are concerned, top notch.
Yeah. So the tourism conversation for me is it's a bit complex because if you have, let's say, the Zambian tourism agency, so if we gave them the mandate to say, you guys bring in the millions in terms of tourism in Zambia, why that's flawed is because what's their incentive to bring in people? Like,
It's a government mandate.
you know what I mean? So
Yes.
you'd have to have people who really care about their country and are not in it for themselves, right? Which is, a lot of the times, very few of us are like that. And most of us do things for personal gain. So if, as Zambians, we're looking for a sustainable way to bring in a lot of tourism and make a lot of money from the tourism industry in Zambia, it has to be private sector driven, right? Where the private sector is incentivized to bring in more people, right? So what the Zambian Tourism Agency can do is make it more competitive to do tourism as a business in Zambia.
Okay.
So whatever bottlenecks are there to do tourism as a business in Zambia, they should alleviate those so that you have more players that are competing against one another.
Which is better for the consumer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then that will drive them to invest more into international influencers or even just the local influencers that have international recognition. There's one, I won't say his name because I don't need to be advertising him, but he's very famous.
Yeah.
Like when you talk to people outside, they Mr.
Yeah, they know it.
Yeah. Right? So what private sector can be doing is partnering with those guys who have some sort of recognition on the international base and bring them into like visit sites, do creative campaigns with that. And then try and reach more people. So if it's private sector driven, you have a sustainable way to bring in more money for the whole country. Or else we will just always be complaining. Like, yes, the minister of tourism, that's his job, but low-key, he's not really incentivized to bring in people, right? He'll still get paid at the end of the day.
The system is already in place when what you need is disruption.
Exactly. And if we said, what is it to bring in an international influencer? It's $1 million.
Yeah.
If you just put that on the national budget, paying $1 million to this influencer, the whole country will go crazy, right? Yeah. And what do politicians do? Things for votes, right?
Yeah.
So even the best decision, right? Because that's what you need to. If you want to advertise on CNN, you need at least $1 million, right? That's where you need to reach people to advertise the beauty of your country. But that system in and of itself is not incentivized because the voters will say, now you're splurging our taxpayer money and blah, blah, blah. But if it's private driven, that's when we can sustainably bring in.
Have you listened to our tourism episode?
I think I have.
Okay.
I most likely have.
Okay, so
90%.
just wanting to mention, we have an episode. We had former Director General. Is it Director General?
Head of
Yes, Chavunga, and he
Director
gave
Marketing.
Gave
Chavunga
some
Lungu.
really, really interesting insights into the marketing space and just why some of those things are the way that they are. And it really is from like the ministry perspective, from the Ministry of Tourism perspective, from the board, the agency perspective.
Yeah.
It's the unfortunate thing is that there are some of the issues that are there that are. I hope this is safe for me to say that it's almost like it's bigger than the Zambia Tourism Agency.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, from that conversation with Chavunga, something that stuck with me was getting to places insofar as visiting them.
Yeah.
You need access. Yes. You need a way to go there, right? And there are so many beautiful places in Zambia where you can't fly.
Yeah.
There's no one flying there. You can't. You can drive, but
The road is bad.
The road is bad, yeah.
like it's 10 hours drive to go there. It's another 10 hours to come back. You're tired. And you only have like a 4-day holiday weekend that you want to go and do those things.
Yeah.
So it's certain things that the agency can do, but there are also certain things like it's bigger than them. They can't make the road to go to Zambia better. Like it's not for them to do. So I don't know if you have anything to say, Mukumba.
No, which leads us to the challenges we're facing in the industry. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's for you, Musa, the challenge you think marketers often overlook, and how do we address it?
Yeah. Make opportunities. Yeah.
Because at the heart of it, you find that one of the biggest challenges we have is how do we stay authentic in our pursuit of what we are doing as marketers, as opposed to where all you do is you see how it was done elsewhere, and now you say, how do I adapt it to the Zambian context for it to work?
So you said being authentic. How do you think that's a challenge?
Okay,
I want to make sure I answer your question correctly.
All right. So we're in what seems to be a saturated market with everything that's going out, right? So like our advertising, our campaigns, everything we're doing, we're trying to get people's attention. Okay. And now consumers have a very short span attention now. So you find that even if you're watching a video, whether someone is saying something sensible, it's fun, it's whatever it is, you find that within the first 5 seconds, 30 seconds,
3
all
seconds.
that, for 5 seconds, you already decide whether you want to listen to what this person is saying or not. And you move. So now how do businesses, understanding that they have that, short of a time frame to get someone's attention. So how do you stay authentic? So in a way that people go, oh, okay,
this is something.
This is something worth my time.
Yeah. So I think it goes back to giving the user or the customer something in it for them, like giving them something of value for them. And when you're posting something on social media or you're showing up as a brand on social media, they're giving you their time, right? So now you have to make it worth it for them, right? So if they see something that they think will be boring, of course they'll scroll past it. So within the first few seconds, they're pretty much telling you, okay, give me a reason to watch your video. And that goes back to understanding who they are. So if you have, let's say, a visual hook, something that brings them in, you're saying, okay, what would, if you're selling financial services, right? What would a person that would buy this service be interested in? And what's the one thing they would like to see in the first few seconds, right? Sometimes it's just a visual hook. Some people like to move something around. So then visually that's interesting. And that will help them stay on your video to hear you out with what you have to say, right? So we have to get more creative in how we hook the users in, right? And also have to get more creative in how we make them stay. There's things like watch time that dealing with when when messing with social media, right?
Yeah.
There's things like, okay, what's the I mentioned the visual hook, like what's something that they see that will make them come to the video, but what's something that will keep them hooked to the end of the video. All those things are things that we have to be creative about as marketers, and we have to become innovative about them. There's a lot of elements that we can play around with to appeal to our users. Like one thing that a lot of us Zambian marketers don't necessarily use that we can is the power of nostalgic marketing, right? A lot of us in Zambia, because of our population, have similar lived out experiences. Right?
Yeah.
Depending on your age range, there's certain things that
everyone
knew
that
knew.
song.
Right, exactly.
Everyone played that game.
Exactly. The song, a game, or an advert. So that's already like a goldmine in terms of the elements that we can use from that to appeal to our audiences and sort of take them back to things that they knew before. But I don't see a lot of us using that.
Yeah, I think just before you come into here, when you talk about authentic and the fact that you talked about nostalgia, like immediately you said that, in my mind I'm thinking, why do I still know Dana Kodian si Malelo, Dana Pikan si Malelo? I can still remember, like I can remember the ad and what was going on. Or that was so now it's one of those like is that speaking to like maybe the people before were as authentic as could be? Because now if you tell me to think of an ad that's recent, nothing is memorable enough that it has stuck in my mind and say, oh, this is that. Unless maybe you used a huge influence and all I can think of is he was there, but I can't really remember why he was there.
That
I think
level of emotion that it evoked,
part of it is the way we interacted with
media
ads then, right? Then we had ZNBC. You know what I mean? So you're forced to watch all of these ads. You didn't have all the things to change to. Your parents love ZNBC, so you know all the go chaba chaba go. Like everyone will talk of these ads because of how we interacted with them. But I think that has changed because we have a lot of options now, international options. So we don't interact with ads the same way. But I think there was a good level of creativity back then that people are sort of moved away from. I don't know why, but that's it.
It's another conversation. I was going to say, just in that limelight, when you're talking about using nostalgia as marketing, I think I wanted to first say that Zambians, we are authentic. I think we're very, very authentic. I think when it comes to identity, I always say Copper Belt has got an identity of its own, and it's so strong.
It's very ingrained. It's a powerful brand.
It's a brand on its own. Yeah, so I don't know what type of marketing it is, but it's sort of, I would call it the bubblegum effect, where when there's something trending, everyone wants to jump on it.
Right.
Whether it's the brands, individuals, influencers, and that becomes a base for marketing for maybe the next week or 2 weeks. I'll give an example of was it that Uncle Malume thing that was trending last year? Uncle Malume, when the guy was going into diving the swimming pool and couldn't swim. And and everyone jumped on that, and it almost became some sort of marketing gimmick for 2 weeks, and then it passed. Then you have these phrases that are being used by influencers. I think there was one from a jealous point of view. There was one that you said
Demure.
Yes. and we and we jump onto that, and then that's the trend for the next 2 weeks. You know, people always say in Zambia there's always something to talk about. And I think that's sort of the marketing that most people buy into. And when you see that people are buying into that, as a marketer, you become, okay, you know what, let's use this if I'm going to get to A, B, C, and D.
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
It's a global trend though. It's not just us. And I think that's where then it becomes important to say, while I'm using these trends, what am I building in terms of my brand? Like what are things that I am saying, regardless of what is trending, what trending sound I use, the things that I say are not changing, and these are the things that I'm always going to say because this is the brand that I'm building. I think I wanted to add,
Yeah.
social media is the only place, I feel like one of the few places where if you want to go viral, all of the information you need about how to go viral is on social media. There are literally hundreds of accounts where people are talking about, this is how you build a hook. This is how you catch people's attention. This is how you tell a story. Your video, your what. This is how you use your Samsung phone to take good pictures for your whatever, all of that. And so if you're a marketer, small budget, big budget, whatever, all the tools that you need
It's there.
on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, that information is there, and there's a wealth of information there that you can use.
The one thing I was going to add, just as a disclaimer for, I think, certain people when we talk about jumping on trends, right, is you need to reach a point where you also understand your brand, right? Like the problem that's there now is some people feel every trend is worth jumping on, right? I think there was that room 18 or I don't know, room 101 or something, that scandal
18.
that was there. Do you remember it? So do I give context?
Give me context, because I think I saw something, but I didn't dig into it.
Okay, so it's basically, I think a wife was cheating on her husband, right? And so on the door
Where
it says room 18. Okay, so that's we've laid the the foundation.
Some brands jumped on that.
No, you find that some brands will
remember Cargo
literally.
88?
I don't know
Was
if it
it
was.
Cargo 88?
I don't know if it was them, but
I'm sorry.
I know.
There was one hotel, I think, that I remember
Not
talking
Cargo
about
88.
privacy. Not
Yeah.
Cargo 88. One hotel place, like lodge place, where
more
like
we wouldn't
do that. Yes, a room.
Oh yes, I think I saw that. Now, now it rings a bell. Yeah.
So because of that particular thing, you find that is that really what you want to attach your brand
brand
to? Right? Like yes, it's trending, but I mean, something should just trend for consumers as they are
be
making jokes and
associated.
memes.
Yes.
Like don't associate your brand with it.
With that,
Anyway, we move.
That was
Yeah.
interesting.
It was very, very interesting. You also just like, anyway, don't associate your brand with certain things.
It's not worth it.
In conclusion, don't associate your brand with certain things. So we're wrapping up. We have our one last question that we ask everybody is one brand that embodies, yes, the Zambian spirit.
That one, every time you guys ask that question, I was like, yo, that's a tough question. Because like one, I guess I would go with the Coppola experience in the sense that it has been embraced by a lot of people, right? You have Coppola words or dances or slogans or behavior. That's generally like embraced everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you have anything else that would then embody the Zambian spirit more than the Coppola experience would.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe Zesco.
Wow.
Okay.
As we did the podcast in the dark.
Yes, as we had to.
If we're gonna go there,
Yo. It's yeah.
Yeah, no. The Copal experience is a good one.
Yeah. And the other one is one book that has greatly impacted your career as a marketer.
If I had to go with one, I would go with the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is by Al Rees and I've forgotten the other guy's name. Yeah, but that it really gives you the laws of marketing that some people just don't think about generally. But it's almost like you can't go against these laws or you can't miss them out if you're really trying to have an impactful marketing experience. So that one really changed my perspective. It gave me sort of direction in what I need to do to have effective marketing. And yeah, if I had to pick one, that would be it.
Okay.
There's a lot to pick from, but that would be the one.
Cool. And the last one is someone who you'd listen to if we had them on the show?
You guys should bring on. How do I forget his name? Young Feroz.
Really?
Yeah.
Young Feroz would be a great episode.
Honestly, I'm surprised no one has said, when we've asked them this brand question, I'm surprised no one has said
Young Feroz.
Young
eh?
Feroz.
Young Feroz would be.
I mean, it might not be like aesthetically like the quintessential, like international brand. But if we're talking about the Zambian spirit,
Yes.
literally like indigenous
Yeah.
building from the ground up.
Exactly.
That's
that would be a good if we want to talk about like people rising up in the Zambian business landscape, like original Zambian, not foreign or anything. And if we're talking about a business model that's very unique in terms of how they market it and how they go to market. Yeah, I think there's a lot of gems that we can learn from that.
A lot.
That would make a
Because,
very good story. Yeah?
because on one end, I mean, if you're working for someone who's going to buy you a car, I mean,
brand work.
He buys employees' cars.
I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that was true.
Yeah.
But I think it's at one branch. Because if he bought for everyone, it's just like, because he has...
Where's the
I know he did it the other year, so I guess it's...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Very
I think
interesting.
He's an interesting character.
Okay, the last thing. I don't know if we didn't discuss whether we were going to mention this or not. But we were just talking about, as we were getting started before we started recording how you are building a brand and you're selling mbuzi.
Yes.
And I was talking about how I'm so obsessed with your graphics and your, like...
Yeah.
got me beef skula cousin, and I was saying when I saw that, I'm like picturing like someone in a leather jacket and like skinny jeans and the Chelsea boot. And do you want to tell us just a little bit about the creative process for that?
Sure.
A bit of information about it, and like, have you already gone to market? Like, where can people find?
Yeah. So, the name of the brand you're talking about is Meaty Goat. So it's a niche, and our niche is goat meat, and it's goat meat retailing. So, just from a business perspective, we noticed a gap in the market where you have goat meat lovers and goat farmers, but they don't
There's
have
no
a place to
meeting
meet,
point.
right? So we figured, okay, we can meet the need for.
Can we talk about how the name is Meaty Goat?
Yes.
I keep laughing at the I keep laughing at the part.
So many in there. Meaty Goat, greatest of all time. You know, yes.
There's so,
So
much to play
many,
with.
yes.
There's so much to play with.
Yeah.
To speak of what you're talking about, that has also helped us because we're like, okay, how do we show up as a new meat brand on the market? And we were like, okay, let's show up in a way that no one would ever think about. And if we did it and someone else did it, everyone would just be like, you guys are copying those guys.
Yeah.
Right? So our whole perspective, okay, let's show up as funny characters. Let's get the character of a goat. What we like to do a lot is pit the goat against the cow. Right? So that there's something there. Then have the goat say like interesting stuff or funny stuff that I felt people would find funny, but that would be an avenue through which we get to reach people. So yeah, that's pretty much what we've been trying to do. We want to get into skits as well, where like the goat is maybe having a rap battle with a cow. Or
Animated or...
it could be animated,
Okay.
or we could use like, what do you call this?
Costumes.
Costumes, but what's the phrase for that?
The one football mascot. Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Like get into that. So I think we also just want to innovate in the marketing space using what we have. And I feel that has a lot of gems that we can pull out from. So look out for it. Meaty Goat on all social media platforms.
Nice.
Love.
Love. Try and see where we take that.
And how do our listeners find you?
You know what? I should have
It's okay if
prepared
you don't want to
beforehand.
share. It's okay.
No, I do want to share, but like I tend to forget my handles. I think Musa_Jesse on TikTok and Instagram, I think, and on Facebook. Musa Jesse Milapo on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And same on Twitter.
Okay.
So this year I'll be more active in terms of marketing content, just trying to so at least you can have 5 names to
Yes. Yes.
accept yourselves.
Yes, please.
So yeah.
Alrighty. Cool. It's been a good episode.
No, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I feel like I took your episode off rails. but-
No,
That's what we love.
No, that is
Authentic. Really how most of the episodes go.
Yeah.
So because even initially I told you, I'm like, look, here's this. All I'm saying is I don't know. This is how we'll move.
But we have it.
But
just in case.
but we have it, and
Yeah.
fortunately, the conversations have taken shape, and sometimes just lead you where you should go. And I think we've got the essence of what we needed to deliver in the podcast. And thank you so much for making the time
thank you for having me.
to come be with us. We hope you'll be available the next time we need you.
Whenever
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a fan. So
Exactly. And to our listeners, thank you so much. We are back.
Yes. After a short hiatus.
We took a break. We're back. Watch out for more amazing content, more amazing guests, and so much to talk about. And please remember, follow us on social media, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook. What do you do on Twitter?
Follow.
You follow.
On X. Follow us on X.
You follow us on X. So thank you so much. And with that said, we bring our show to an end. So remember to keep your finger on the marketing pulse.
We hope that you have enjoyed today's episode just as much as we have.
Till next time, remember to keep your finger on the marketing pulse.